Okay, so on this part right here, I'm going to use an angle grinder. Just grind this half off. So I've ground the nut half away, and now I'll just be able to get it off of there. And all we'll be dealing with is a stud after that. Okay, so with a hammer and chisel now, I'm going to break away the rest of this nut. There, it's gone. Okay. So I'm just going to repeat this now on the other three. Saw part of the nut off and then break the rest away. So once this nut is considerably weakened by being cut away, it's possible to get a set of channel lock pliers on here and turn it off. Although, as usual, there's not much room to work. So it's turning. It's coming. So we got rid of most of the nut, or part of it. And that freed this thing up to turn out. Not quite. Okay. Okay, there it is. There's the beastie. Reduced it a little bit on the side and then was able to turn it out. Okay, once you have part of this nut cut off, which I used the angle grinder on it, it'll come loose. You turn it the rest of the way off. Seems the process of removing a good part of it weakens it. You're able to break through. It's turning off even though this is a very rusty stud. Using like a 12mm on here. I think these were originally sized out at 13. In this case you can see that it's actually pulling the stud out. So this is excellent. Pulling the stud out and the rusty nut all at once. Turn it right out. And out. Now I have a problem on a couple of these. Let's flip it over here. On two of these, I've got the studs off, the nuts off, and I have to get the turn off the studs. Now these are hex ends on here, I believe, and I'm going to try to find a tool that'll fit on there, a socket that'll fit on there, so I can get those out. So 2 down, 2 to go. And of course we've got to do the bottom ones, which is the most fun of all. Okay, I was able to get at this with a breaker bar 1/2" adapter down to 3/8 and then a 3/8" 1/2" deep well socket. So we'll give this a try, see if we can jar this thing loose. Okay, here's the view from underneath. And we're going to try to jar some of these nuts loose here before we resort to cutting them partially off. Got a socket and a deep well socket and a breaker bar with an adapter, and we'll see if we can jar this one loose. 1/2" sockets going on these. So that second one came out. You can see this thing's intact. course, it didn't unthread from the stud because it's so rusted on there, but pulled out the entire stud. So now I'm going to work on the next one toward the front of the truck, I should say. See if we can have some luck with that one. Okay, the far left one over here wound up stripping out, but as you can see, that's the second one, and that one is going to just come right out. Amazing. It's always worth a try. Gotta get it the easy way first. Can't tell if the whole stud's turning out or if I'm actually removing the nut on this one. To go underneath and take a look at that. But anyway, that's definitely a plus. It's one more down. Okay, they're all a little bit different. This one, the nut turned off the stud and the stud stayed in. Talking about the one that's associated with the third from the back. And so we'll worry about that when we get the manifold off, trying to get the stud out. Remember when you're taking these out to tap with your hammer on your breaker bar or ratchet. Don't try to put a total ton of torque on them because that'll strip them in many cases. Just tap on it, and when it finally breaks loose, you're home free. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is slice a little bit off this bolt back here. Okay, I couldn't go in at a perfect 90-degree angle owing to the limitations on how I can fit this cutting tool in here. But I think I took enough off now that I can chip the rest away and turn it off. Okay, I got this one out under here. Same deal, Dremel tool. Cut the nut half away, twisted it off, it caught on the threads, pulled out the stud. Okay, there's only one left, and that's underneath. Let's go take a look at it. Okay, right there. There's our bad boy. There's always one bad one, isn't there? It's got to be one that just won't cooperate. So I've tried to turn that one off already with a nut and a ratchet. It won't budge, it just strips. So I'm going to have to get under there and cut away part of that again somehow. Okay, I got this nut cut off underneath, halfway cut off, but there was nothing I could get on it. I was finally able to get at this and get a vice grip, a very small vice grip, pliers on it. And begin to turn it off, as you can see. There's several hours of frustration on this one nut to get to this point. But it's coming off.